What's up, fellow gays? It's me, B3, back with another movie reaction review. Hopping on this one a lot faster than I hopped on A Quiet Place 2. I really took my time with that one. But today we are reviewing Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Many of you likely know that Venom is my favorite Marvel character, and Carnage is my favorite Marvel villain, so I had the hype, but I kept my expectations low. If you watched my review of the last Venom film, you know that I really enjoyed it, thought it was super fun, but structurally and stuff, I was like, maybe not the best film, but a very enjoyable one. Part of me still feels that way about this one, but I actually do think it was better. From this point on, there will be some heavy spoilers, probably. Keep that in mind. This is your warning. Get the fuck out if you gotta. So, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. A lot of stuff went down. Like, I was in that theater 2 hours, easy, and it did not feel like it. It was so fast-paced, it just flew by. And that's to its credit. It was so fast-paced, but not in a way where you couldn't keep up with what was happening. It was just like, boom, 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 let's get there, let's get there. I liked that. I liked that a lot. I liked the CG, I liked the effects. I'm a big practical effects guy, and just with the symbiotes, though, practical effects for the symbiotes would be so hard to do, and it would probably look really bad. The CG was good, could have been better. Something about the way the symbiotes looks, it's just a little off. I don't know. Maybe it's I thought I had a bruise. Nope, just a receding hairline. I think it might have just been a trick of the eye, like my human eye trying to fucking register something not human, I can't remember the name of that effect. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Whatever. You can tell me in the comments and assume I'm an idiot. Yeah, so Woody Harrelson's performance as Cletus Cassidy is very memorable. I really like what they did with Carnage in this film. I thought Woody Harrelson brought a lot to it. I'm glad they got rid of his curly hair from the freaking after credits in the first film, because it looked fucking terrible. And now he just has hair that really suits him a lot better. He was wearing a styling suit, too. Shriek was in it? I did not expect Shriek to be in it, but you see her before you see Eddie and Venom. And I was like, holy shit, it's Shriek! I didn't think I'd see Shriek! I, honest to God, did not think I would see Shriek at all. But she's, like, very important to the film. She can clearly kick ass without Carnage. Wow. I was very happy to see Shriek. That was cool, especially since they killed her in Absolute Carnage. They killed her off. They sacrificed her to raise up a new Demo Goblin, and then I guess that Demo Goblin was fucking Carnage because they shared a big sloppy monster kiss. Very fuckable. Relax, all right. I'm Alan Moore's son. I know what I'm talking about. So we get into the film, and apparently there's some, it's not super explained, but apparently it's red symbiotes are pretty much the strongest ones, and you can really tell. Carnage's design is really good. It really sets itself apart from Venom's. They really go hard, real fucking hard on his tendrils, that's kind of visually the thing that makes Carnage stand out, is all his tendrils that he's always using. Because Venom, if Venom uses a tendril, he usually immediately retracts it, both in the comics and in the film. Once he's done with it, but Carnage's kind of just stay out. It's kind of something that just sets him apart visually. And I really liked it. I liked the performances. Tom Hardy was good. I think I liked him better in the first one. I don't know. His performance felt a bit more tame, which makes sense. But he had this big falling out with Venom in the film, and they kind of broke up in a way, and then came back together after realizing how much they need each other. Whatnot. A lot of, character development in a very short, fast-paced period of time. Very short and fast-paced. Kind of wish it would have been... I kind of wish the first film would have been as violent as this one, because Carnage goes on a fucking rampage. Like, I think he probably kills 100... He kills at least 100 people in this film. He's just slaughtering people in the street with his tendrils as he drives. It's insane. I love this version of Cletus Cassidy. I really loved it. Honest to God. And it was a Cletus with a lot more character depth than in the comics. Not that they showed that depth much, which is partially due to the pacing of the film just being so fast. I felt like they just really wanted to cover a lot before the after credit scene did what it did, which I'll get to. It's so fast-paced, but... So, the choreography in the film, fucking incredible. The way Carnage slaughters people is just so unique and interesting, and it uses his tendrils in lots of clever ways. The only thing I thought was weird was when he, turned himself into a little tornado whirlwind, and just boop, 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 the warden of the prison. That was kind of fucking weird. That was really weird, actually. And there's this one scene. I have to talk about this scene. My partner and I saw this together, and we were just at the Chili's over there, and we were talking about this scene and how we both thought it was really weird. So, Cletus Cassidy, who has just been in a prison, goes into a gas station, kills the clerk in kind of a fun, interesting way that I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that murder. And then he makes his hands all symbiote and puts his fingers into the computer's USB ports and everything, and that pulls up secret government files. And it's where did this power come from? What? How does it make sense? It doesn't. And it's that could have been done in such an organic, easy to believe way, too. But instead, so Carnage breaks out of a fucking prison. I want to reiterate that. He is in a prison with files on prisoners in it. And then he busts out of the prison, goes to a gas station, and then at the gas station looks up files about prisoners. Why didn't you look up the files about prisoners when you were in the fucking prison, Cletus? Why? And I know you don't have to tell me. I know that they were secret, hidden government files. Shriek was publicly supposed to be dead, kind of, even though the media didn't seem to address that when she showed up. She was supposed to be dead, and she was at Ravencroft or whatever, and I think it was Ravencroft. And they were just kind of keeping her locked up and experimenting on her or whatever. And it's I know there were secret government files, but still, wouldn't it have been easier to go do it in a prison? And you didn't have to make them secret government files. You could have just said she was alive and the government just took her. You didn't have to say the government was hiding her. I mean, I think they're trying to set up more Ravencroft stuff for a cinematic universe type thing, maybe some stuff in Morbius and other films that they want to do. Is that Black Cat, Silver Sable thing still happening? I don't think so. Probably not, right? And it was why didn't they just have state prison files in the prison, and he either could have gotten them from the prison or gone through a cool rampage in a police station. Getting secret government files from the gas station with this power that just... I mean, I'm used to the comics kind of just giving symbiotes powers when it's convenient, but that one was a really tech-specific one, and it worked instantly. As soon as the tendrils went into the computer, the government files were immediately there. He didn't even have to look for them. It felt like they cut a scene where that was maybe a bit more, and then inserted this tiny one, like maybe it was a reshoot or something. I don't know, but the kill in the gas station was great, but the reason he did it was dumb. And also, why, like, Cletus wants to be Eddie's friend for a while in this. Why does Cletus want to be Eddie's friend? Is it because he kind of sees a lot of himself in Eddie because they were both abused by their dads and were both considered like screw-ups and thrown away? Like, yeah, but how does Cletus Cassidy know all that? No, seriously, how does Cletus Cassidy know that? Would he just turn to a guard and be like, hey, bring me everything you have on Eddie Brock? And then the guard just like did? I mean, that doesn't happen in the movie, but it feels like that's what had to happen at some point. How does he know all this deep personal stuff about Eddie? How much stuff does this deranged serial killer have access to? It makes no sense at all. At all. It really fucking doesn't. And I have no clue what's happening. I really... It was weird. I felt like parts of the film were indeed rushed. I feel like they maybe could have slapped another 30 minutes on this. It felt like they wanted to get Venom to the after credit scene place as soon as possible. Which, once again, I'll get to that. Because the after credit scene puts him in the MCU. Just straight up, it does. It does. So we go through all this like character development and stuff really quickly. They seem to have some kind of story with the FBI agent, and it seems like he's had encounters with Shriek before, which is why he has hearing aids, because she has like sonic powers. And like at the end of the movie, he's dead but not dead, and his eyes are glowing blue, and I was like, what's that about? Like, his name didn't stand out to me. I guess I'll have to look it up. Usually when I do these, like, when I'm in the theater parking lot, it's just a reaction, my emotions after seeing the film. This isn't like an in-depth review or anything, and really none of my movie reviews are, to be completely honest. I'm not Jenny Nicholson, right? I'm not gonna... do subscribe to Jenny Nicholson, though. She's got the good stuff. She's got the good content, boy. Yeah, it did feel... The fast pace, I thought, was good, but at the same time, like, you could have kept that pace and given us just, like, 30 minutes more of why Cletus likes Brock and stuff. And then also, like, there's one point where Carnage, the symbiote, says it wants to kill Venom. And I'm like, how does it know Venom's name? And, like, I had that immediate thought, and then I was like, oh, I guess hive mind? But then, like, I was thinking, and I was like, wait, no, because if they were both connected to the hive mind, they would just both know each other's locations at all times. And then at the end of the movie, the Venom symbiote attempts to connect to the hive mind, which means he wasn't connected before. So the symbiote, does it have Venom's memories? Because that's very plausible. I would buy that in a second. Sci-fi goo monster? Sure. Absolutely, I would buy that. But nobody says that. Nobody says that. So I have no fucking clue what was going on there. It was just really all over the place. I don't know. The movie just needed like 30 more minutes to just flesh a few little things out. And then there was like this red wedding in this gorgeous but creepy church. I really liked the vibe, the set design, and the whole production design of that scene in general. Just, oh my god, it was fantastic. It was really my vibe. And the cathedral fight with Carnage and Venom is pretty kick-ass. And one thing I want to point out about Carnage's character is that usually when you see Carnage in the comics, especially in main continuity, he and his symbiote are basically the same mind. They are like an absolutely perfect blend of each other. Like, absolutely perfect. And in this one, that's not the case. They're actually, like, kind of not really a match. Because the Carnage symbiote really wants to kill Shriek because she has sonic powers, which kind of makes sense. And Cletus is like, fuck you, that's not going to happen. It's not going to fucking happen. And that is kind of how Venom beat him. I feel like a lot of comic book fans will be like, no, Cletus and the Carnage symbiote don't work that way. But that's that bit of the movie, which was set up. It was. A couple times, at least. That's the only way Venom could beat Carnage. Because if you think about it, like, look at all the big stories with Carnage and stuff in the comics. At the very minimum, Venom and Spider-Man have to team up to stop him. And every single time Carnage comes back, it takes more and more and more to defeat him. Look at Maximum Carnage, Minimum Carnage, Absolute Carnage, for Christ's sake, which was a freaking line-wide event. That's how big of a threat Carnage was. Insane. Speaking of Absolute Carnage, there were some spirals in this film. I don't think Sony has the balls to go full Donny Cates Null on us. I, honest to God, do not think they have the balls. I think that was just fun Easter eggs. I don't think it's a foreshadowing of Null or a setup of Null. I don't think they would do that. I honestly don't think they will, especially since that's kind of so new. But relatively new. King in Black is kind of new, but Null, like as a character and concept, isn't. But it looks like there's a spiral on the wall in like Cletus's bigger cell, and Cletus like writes notes in spirals. Just made me think of Null. And my Venom-loving Donny Cates brain was probably actively looking for that. I was definitely actively looking for spirals, okay? Might have imagined the one in his cell, but he definitely wrote that spiraled note for sure. For sure. 100%. Also, I just want to point this out. There's this, like, animated sequence about, like, Cletus's childhood that he's narrating. And I thought that was very interesting because I didn't expect to see anything like that in this film. It was very almost... It was kind of a Tim Burton-esque art style. It was very interesting looking, like something Cletus, like, drew himself. Very, very interesting, actually. Someone just pulled in behind me. That's what those lights are. Sorry. Not that this is well lit in the first place. But there were people, like, laughing through the whole thing. They thought it was funny. Like, it starts with him killing his grandmother, then killing his mother, getting beaten by his father, thrown in an orphanage, getting beaten by the kids in the orphanage. And I was like, why are so many people laughing? It was insane. There were at least 6 or 7 people laughing. The teenagers kind of in front to my right, and then the guys right behind me. I was like, this is horrific. Why are you laughing? I'm all for dark comedy. In fact, I love it. You know, Sweeney Todd and Demon Barber of Fleet Street's the greatest musical of all time. That's a black comedy. But it was so weird hearing them laugh. Like, my partner and I just looked at each other like, what are these people laughing at? This is horrible. Wow. Just wow. Yeah, that was kind of my split off tangent, because I was saying, like, Cletus and the Carnage symbiote not being fully bonded is the only way Venom could beat it, because Carnage pretty much always takes multiple people to beat him in the comics, and we didn't have those characters. And I still maintain the point I made in the last vlog, that Carnage should not have been the villain of this film. 2 symbiote villains in a row is... Carnage's powers are a little different, but just barely. And I really, really hope that the next film is not another symbiote villain. I really hope. And I know we're going to see Venom again. Because Eddie's on the run with the symbiote, and they're like in this hotel, and it seems like the Doctor Strange Spider-Man multiverse stuff drags them into that reality. Because they see the Peter Parker news on the television in this comedic scene. It's interesting. The movie's genuinely funny, but the only jokes that land are kind of the ones that Venom delivers. Which I kind of felt the same way in the first movie. In the first film, the only jokes I felt landed were Venom's jokes. No one else's jokes land. I don't know. Venom is just really charismatic, I guess. No one else's jokes land. They really want it to be an MCU film, and I guess it is now, since they're gonna. It looks like he's probably gonna be in No Way Home, even though I don't think he should be. But if he just gets trapped in the MCU, I guess that's fine. I don't know. It's weird. But remember a while back I said a good way, because lots of people were complaining that Venom didn't have his spider on his chest when his design was revealed, and I was like, why would it be? If he hasn't spun out of a Spider-Man movie or was ever bonded to Peter. But I feel like something that could happen, I've mentioned this in previous videos, is maybe he eventually does team up with Spider-Man, and they both gain such a respect for Spider-Man that they put a spider on their chest and back. And then that's how they get it. I think that would be a very cool thing to do, and then you could just repaint that Marvel Legend I couldn't get a hold of, and boom, new Venom figure. And I do hope we get a figure of the Carnage. The only Marvel figures I collect these days are really the symbiotes, and I'd like an Immortal Hulk, if possible, Hasbro, please. But I guess that's it for Venom 2, directed by Andy Serkis, which I didn't expect, but the direction was good. I really think it should have just been a little longer. I liked the fast pace, but just 30 more minutes tacked onto there, because our film started at 6:30, ended at 8:30, and you know, a lot of that 6:30, like there were a bunch of trailers before that, so the film's like less than 2 hours, which is normally fine. Normally my preferred movie length is like an hour and a half, hour 40. But movies are just getting so long. I don't know if you've noticed, movies are just constantly getting longer. In the 20s they were so short, and now they're so long. I don't want anything like The Irishman length. But you know, give me a good 2 hours if you have this much to get through and want such a fast pace. It just kind of felt like they were really just trying to get them both to a point where they could get into the MCU. And it does seem like the Venom movies are going to take a turn to be monster movies, because there's like a line that the FBI agent who's dead or possessed or something delivers where he's talking about monsters. And I'm like, good, go full monster. That's the only way this Sony cinematic universe that isn't Spider-Man can really succeed, because superhero films are ending. Look at the recent MCU films. They aren't superhero movies except the new Spider-Man. Eternals is high concept sci-fi, and it has monsters. Shang-Chi, there's monsters in Shang-Chi. It's a martial arts film. Black Widow is an espionage film. WandaVision was like a comedy, mystery. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, war, an espionage. Loki was like a sci-fi romance. They're moving away from the superhero stuff because it's not popular anymore, because monsters are taking over. So I really hope Sony just goes full fucking monster with Morbius and with Venom and whatever else the fuck they want to do. They could do something with the Lizard, I guess. I don't know. The Lizard doesn't... A Lizard solo film I don't think would work. Honestly. I kind of don't. It'd be a good villain for Venom, but we already had him in a Spider-Man movie, so I doubt they'll do that. But that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. Sorry it was so long, but there was a lot to talk about. As I said, the movie covered a lot. It really did. I liked it. They really animated those fights and stuff well. It was well choreographed. I loved how Carnage attacked people. I liked the pace. I just think it should have been a little longer and maybe less focused on getting him to a place where he would be MCU ready. But at the same time, it wasn't as bad as like Batman vs. Superman just being a Justice League trailer. So that's it. Thank you all once again for your support. I'll see y'all next time.